have you done to my dog?
It was 7 minutes after midnight. The dog was lying in the grass in the middle of the lawn outside of Mrs. Shear's house. It looked as if it was running on its side, the way dogs run when they think they are chasing a cat in a dream. But the dog was not running or asleep. The dog was dead.
Get away from my dog!
There was a garden fork sticking out of the dog. The dog was called Wellington. It belonged to Mrs. Shears, who was a friend who lived on the opposite side of the road, 2 houses to the left.
Get away from my dog!
My name is Christopher John Francis Boone. I live at 36 Randolph Street, Swindon, Wiltshire. I know all the countries of the world and capital cities and all prime numbers up to 7,507.
I said get away from my dog!
Christopher Boone is autistic, on the spectrum, confused by the mystery of who killed his neighbor's dog, Wellington. However, in trying to solve this mystery, he uncovers a much more personal mystery, one that causes him to want to flee the life he knows.
From The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon, adapted for stage by Simon Stevens.
I'm sorry, Father. I didn't kill Wellington.
I know. Just try and keep your nose out of other people's business.
Well, I'm gonna figure out who killed Wellington.
Were you listening to what I was saying, Christopher?
Well, yes, I was listening to what you were saying, but when someone gets murdered, you have to figure out who did it so that they can be punished.
Leave it.
I wonder if the police will find out who killed Wellington and punish the person.
I said leave it for God's sake.
Mother died 2 years ago. I came home from school one day and no one was at the door, so I went and found the secret key we kept under the flower pot outside the kitchen window. And Father came home an hour later.
Christopher, have you seen your mom?
No. He said he would be out for a while and didn't know how long he would be. He came back 2.5 hours later.
I'm afraid you won't be seeing your mother for a while.
Why not?
Your mother's had to go into hospital.
Well, we can visit her.
No.
Why can't we?
Christopher, I'm sorry your mother's died. She's had a heart attack. It wasn't expected.
What kind of heart attack?
I don't know what kind of heart attack. Now isn't the moment Christopher would be asking questions like that.
Well, it was probably an aneurysm.
I'm sorry, Christopher. I'm really sorry.
I think Mr. Shears probably killed Wellington.
I will not have that man's name mentioned in my house!
Why not?
That man is evil.
Does that mean he might have killed Wellington?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Christopher. I'm going to say this for the last and final time. I will not tell you again. Look at me when I'm talking to you, for God's sake. Look at me. You are not to go asking Mrs. Shears who killed that bloody dog. You are not to go asking anyone who killed that bloody dog. You are not to go trespassing on other people's gardens, and you are to stop this ridiculous bloody detective game right now. What is this?
It's a book I'm writing.
When we were inside the park, Mrs. Alexander stopped walking and said, I'm going to say something to you, and you must promise not to tell your father I told you this. Your mother, before she died, was very good friends with Mr. Shears. What did I tell you, Christopher?
Not to mention Mr. Shears' name in our house, not to go asking Mrs. Shears or anyone who killed that bloody dog, not to go trespassing on other people's gardens, and to stop this ridiculous bloody detective game. Except, I haven't done any of those things.
Oh, don't give me those bollocks. You knew exactly what you were bloody doing. What else did I say, Christopher?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, memory man. Not to go sticking your nose in other people's business. Oh, and what do? You go sticking your nose in other people's business. What am I going to do with you, Christopher? What the hell am I going to do with you?
My book! My book!
No, don't touch it! I need a drink. Christopher, I'm sorry I hit you. I didn't mean to. It's just, I worry about you because I don't want to see you getting into trouble, because I don't want to see you get hurt.
Where is my book?
Christopher, do you understand that I love you?
When I came home from school the next day, Father was still at work, so I went and checked in the dustbin outside to see if my book was there. But it wasn't. So I started by looking in the kitchen, then in the dining room, and then the utility room. But the book wasn't there either, which meant the only room left to detect in was Father's bedroom. I went into his room and looked in the cupboard, and I found a shirt box. When I looked inside, I saw my book was in there. And that is when I saw the envelope. It was addressed to me. It had never been opened, and it said,
Christopher Boone, 36 Randolph Street, Swindon, Wiltshire.
And then I noticed there were lots of envelopes, and they were all addressed to me. And then I noticed how the words Christopher and Swindon were written.
Christopher, Swindon,
Mother.
Dear Christopher, I wanted to explain to you why I went away. I was not a very good mother, Christopher. Maybe if things had been different, maybe if you'd been different, I would have been better at it, but it's just the way things turned out. Do you remember once when we were shopping in Bentl's and it was really crowded and you crouched down on the floor and put your hands over your ears, and I tried to pick you up and move you, but you shouted and knocked those mixes off the shelf and there was a big crash. And I just wanted to get you out of there, but you wouldn't let me touch you, so we just had to wait until you stopped screaming. I remember that night I just cried, and your father was really nice about it at first, but I said I couldn't take it anymore, and eventually he got really cross and told me I was being stupid and that I should pull myself together, and I hit him, which was wrong. We had a lot of arguments like that.
And that is when I started spending lots of time with Mr. Shears.
And then I think I realized that you and your father were probably better off if I wasn't living in the house. And Roger asked if I wanted to come with him. And I meant to say goodbye, but when I rang your father, he said he was really angry. He said I couldn't talk to you. And so I haven't.
Christopher, I never meant to hurt you.
Loads and loads of love, Mother. Christopher, what? The letters. I'm sorry, it was an accident. I don't know what to say. I was in such a mess. I said she was in hospital because it was so complicated I couldn't explain it. It got out of control. Look, Christopher, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I killed Wellington, Christopher. Just let me explain. When your mom left, Eileen, Mrs. Shears, she was very good to me, and I thought we were friends, and I guess I thought wrong. We argued, Christopher, and she said some things I'm not going to repeat because they're not nice, but they hurt. I think she cared more for that bloody dog than she did for us anyway. Anyway, we had this row, and when she slams the door behind me, the bugger's waiting for me, and it's like everything had been bottling up for 2 years just... I promise you, I never meant for it to turn out this way. Okay, Christopher, let's leave it for tonight. We'll talk in the morning. It's going to be all right. Trust me.
2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Father had murdered Wellington, which meant that he could murder me too. I had to get out of the house. Mother.